Hey, Bam here, and I love tech, so let's talk tech. Specifically, I wanted to talk about the concept, and actually, now we've got three or four fully electric self-driving cars. I know at least one is available for purchase right now, that being the Tesla Model S, I believe, and I wanted to talk more about how, obviously these are fully electric self-driving cars. They don't take any gas, and the main issue that seems to keep on coming up is, okay, fine, they don't emit emissions. Yeah, they don't emit gas or anything like that. They're supposed to be eco-friendly because of the fact they don't use gas. But then there's the other question of, okay, so then what about the plants or factories that make these, that are actually assembling these, and the materials that are used and everything like that? Well, I dove into that a little bit. I don't have all the information that I would like to have, but I dove into it a little bit last night. I did find out that the batteries that are used to power these cars are made with a very rare sort of material that is, again, being rare, very hard to find. And so that in itself does promote it does actually, unfortunately, promote emissions into the atmosphere and into the air and everything like that. It does promote pollution. So, unfortunately, you got that. The fact that the factories actually already emit the supposedly, I'm not sure about the math, so don't quote me on it, but supposedly the emissions that the factories and plants pour out into the air and atmosphere are just as bad as as if you were to just do a regular gas vehicle that you're driving around. However, in the long run, it is safer, being that the idea that obviously you're driving around in it and you're not causing any pollution, and if you maintain it properly, you can actually surpass the time that that you can actually push out that graveyard time a little bit as to where it would die. And the other part to it is the fact that apparently they have gotten better now as far as like the battery life and everything like that is concerned, that they have, that if you were to take the same type of battery life and apply it and convert it into what be for a car, they would be getting over 100 miles to the gallon. Again, don't quote me on that. I still need to do some research on it, but that's what I've found out so far. Now, the other part to it is the self-driving capability. That is a part that I really want to hammer home. And I really like this part. I like driving. I do like driving. I enjoy driving. I enjoy being in control of the car and everything like that. I do. But I cannot tell you the number of times that I'm a night owl, but I do have my limits. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have been so tired behind the wheel that I almost wound up falling asleep. And obviously, I've never owned a self-driving car. I don't have that kind of money. The only thing I had to rely on was my GPS, and even at that, sometimes it works, sometimes it wouldn't. Of course, this is back a few years ago. I want to say at least 5 years ago. And Google Maps just simply wasn't that good. Of course, at the same time, I had budget smartphones. I was on Virgin Mobile. It was my LG Optimus slider, and it just simply was not that reliable. Of course, nowadays, it's way more reliable, takes way less data. If you download an entire city area, your home city area map onto your internal storage on your smartphone, it won't use up data, just the GPS. Of course, it takes a battery unless you have it plugged in, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, with all of that in mind, I am going to say that I haven't done the research personally myself, but I have heard plenty of people tell me that that I do trust, and it just makes sense that statistics are in favor of self-driving vehicles because the fact that majority of the accidents that happen on the road are operator error. They're not mechanical error, they are operator error. And that does make sense because if something were a mechanical error, it would simply mean that it would shut down most of the time. Most of the time. Sometimes you have fiery explosions and whatnot, but I can't think, I just can't imagine how it would be possible for a non-self-driving car to malfunction so bad that it would wind up ramming itself into another car, unless, of course, there is also the possibility of bad brakes. Now, even with that being said, of course, you know, most of the time you can avoid collisions that would involve other people, expensive property damage, whatever like that, by simply crashing into a tree. It's not going to be fun, but at least you don't kill anyone in the process, depending on how fast you're going. Never mind about that. But I still really want to hammer home the idea of self-driving vehicles. And because of the fact that, you know, how many times can you count that you've either been drunk or tired behind the wheel, and, you know, you obviously don't want to spend the money, you might not want to spend the money on an Uber, or you just may be too drunk to. If your car is self-driving, you can simply use the app on your smartphone that connects to your car and tell it, you know, keep your location on, and tell it, okay, program it in the app to be able to drive you home whenever you're done at partying at the strip club, nightclub, whatever like that. And therefore, all the security guards have to do is put you in the back seat. I mean, that's pretty much a no-brainer, and to me, it sounds like you're getting home safe. Also, the fact that, of course, they have a little bit of ways to go with that. I have personally seen MKBHD's videos on the Tesla Model S and how the app works and everything like that. He went through that, and it looks old, but it still works. It looks like what iPhone's UI looked like whenever it was within the first few years of being introduced to the mass public. So anyway, but no, I am totally in favor of self-driving cars, and especially since the fact that they've also got fail-safe mechanisms put in. They've got fail-safe sensors and everything like that put in that, you know, that it either A, will wake you up if you're asleep behind the wheel or something like that, if it senses a problem that it doesn't know what to do, because of course technology is not going to replace human, at least in this scenario. It simply is assisting human physical action. So the idea that it will either A, wake you up by beeping at you, something like that, or C, it will simply pull over to the side, hopefully into a safe area. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Because of the fact that, of course, tech does fail sometimes. And so the fact they put those fail-safes in there to help it navigate to a safe place if they can't get the driver awakened or what have you. Also, elders that can't be driving or that have had their license taken away, that could also help too. That could help with them as well. It would essentially be a personal taxi cab at that point. So, yeah, I'm in complete favor of self-driving, fully electric cars. Because, and actually one point that I wanted to bring up about the part being fully self-electric is the idea of using solar panels and wind turbines and I forget what the actual term is right now, but essentially water power, to be able to power the vehicles, because then you are obviously just using natural resources at that point that are not polluting the air. Of course, then there's also the question of, okay, how are those being made? Are those being made with some sort of rare earth material that would pollute the air to build them and define them and everything like that? There's all these different questions like that that I personally have for them, even though I am in favor of them, because I want to make sure they are actually really helping as much as what the masses of people would have liked to believe a decade ago or so, years ago, whatever you want to say. So I definitely want to ensure that we're not just shifting over for the sake of, look at us, we're advancing, but that it is an actual advancement to something that is actually better. So, with that in mind, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. I'd love to read your thoughts in the comment section below, and feel free to share this video, like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, whatever. And yeah, so see ya.